Perfect. Welcome, everyone. It is Monday night again. And what do we get together to do on Monday nights? It's Insights with Alicia. Every Monday night, 7 p.m. Phoenix time. It is my absolute favorite thing. Every week we gather to learn and connect. I often say things and people want to know more about it. People really love getting the insight from the scientific psychic, right? There are so many things I've experienced that have transformed my life, and I love sharing these insights to help everyone, not just my clients. So we get together, we talk about relationships, our behavior, life skills, lots of tools and ideas to support all the changes that you want to make in your life. And let's not forget about the animals, because I talk about them too. For those of you who don't know, I am Alicia Sweezer, owner of Who Knew Healing. And I'm an intuitive life coach, animal consultant, animal communicator, psychic, medium, intuitive mentor, and I absolutely love being able to help people and animals. So for those of you listening as a podcast on Spotify or Apple, welcome. It was a massive launch. It's a big success. This week, I was able to launch all episodes of Insights with Alicia on those platforms. If you would like to join us by video, always please join us live on Monday nights, or you can catch the replay of the video on YouTube under my channel, under Alicia Sweezer. And I would love to have you live. So thank you everyone for joining in. Hopefully you've got your favorite drink to enjoy as we chat. As usual, I have my iced tea. I may have to start to find something now that it's cold in Phoenix. It was in the 70s today, which is cold for me. I did not like it. That's the truth. I did not like it. It was cold and I was only outside for a little bit in the middle of the day today. The other thing that we get to celebrate tonight, or I get to celebrate, and you guys with me, is it's been 5 months. 5 months since I started Insights with Alicia. Do you remember? Hey, look, I almost got a little teared up. Because it was so scary for me to start. And I was like, okay, I know the universe has said I'm going to do about 2 months worth. And here we are 5 months later, still going. And it's one of my absolute favorite things. So thank you all for continuing to join, continuing to watch, continuing to support me, and show up so that we get to connect with each other. And for those of you watching, you can see I got a little Halloween background going on tonight. There's some bats in it, which were I do love bats. I was so thrilled when I got to do bat work when I was a wildlife biologist. I have some really unique experiences that most people never get the chance to do. So someday maybe I'll talk about those. Like I said, I want to have pictures, so that I can show you guys, because it's more entertaining and it seems to bring more to the experience when you can have animal pictures of the species you're talking about. Okay, so that's all the celebrating and all of the good stuff and all of the milestones. Thank you all. I'm hoping I move the microphone so that hopefully it picks up easier for the podcast, but it's a really good chance I'm going to hit it with my hands because I do talk with my hands so much. So for those of you just listening, if you hear a whack, that's what it was. It's like you're here right with us. Okay, so what are we going to talk about tonight? We are going to talk about drama, but not the regular drama. We're going to talk about the quiet, hidden drama that goes on in our lives. So drama isn't always loud. What? We all know how loud drama queens are. We all know when, see, touch the microphone. We all know when the diva walks in the room, they make sure we know. This is the type of drama that we're used to. For most, this is what drama is. And like I said, I'm here to talk about the hidden drama in our world, the drama that goes on behind the scenes and permeates into our relationships without us ever realizing it. I'm also talking about the hidden drama that we do to ourselves. I'm sure I'm the only one that does this. It's probably just going to be me talking about myself tonight. Nobody will be able to relate. Of course not. So when we find ourselves in relationships, any kind of relationship, friend, romantic, work, family, it doesn't matter. And we are always stressing, worrying, trying to figure it out. Basically, anywhere we are constantly needing to manage a relationship, that is drama. It is our energy leaking. When we are constantly thinking, spinning, and playing every conversation over and over in our head, this is drama. And I get that it's not the drama that we're used to. When we're continually obsessing about everything the other person is doing, this is drama. When we are having fake or preparatory arguments in our head, this is drama. I'm sure I'm the only one who has ever done that. Kidding. When we are watching everything we say and do and modifying ourselves, this is drama. Do you just like think of that? Like think of all the times that you've done that and you just get the sense in your body of where all of that energy leaks out. So this isn't the drama that's created from constantly arguing or yelling or slamming doors. It isn't loud and scary, but it's extremely draining. It is unhealthy for our mental state and our body. And it's funny, I was talking to a client this morning about this exact subject. Like he started and he was saying, you know, I keep having this happen in my head. And I started to laugh. I was like, this is exactly what I'm going to talk about tonight. So this is perfect. Like I said, I know I'm not the only one that does it. The thing with the hidden drama is why it's hidden is because it's usually happening all in our head. It looks functional and normal. One, because everybody does it. And two, because as humans, we like to figure things out because then we feel safe. So if we know why this person said these specific words in this specific way, then we will feel safe. If we can know what they're going to say before they're going to say it and then prepare for it, we will feel safe. This is the quiet, hidden drama. This is one of the things that drives those fake preparatory arguments in our head. And the truth is that we are keeping ourselves in such a stressed cortisol-induced state that it's literally tearing apart the cells in our body. And it wreaks havoc on our nervous system. When we continually have the arguments or conversations in our head as a way to prepare for the unexpected, it's a massive, massive drama leak. I'm just going to keep saying that. And here's the thing. There is a balance and a difference between thinking about things in a mindful, conscious way. For example, envisioning how we want something to play out or how we would like a conversation to go, versus the repetitive conversation in our head that has a vibration of fear under it. And like I said, you know, it's in that place where you think you have to say the right thing or you're not safe, or you have to say X, Y, and Z perfectly in order to get the outcome that you want to have. And for people who haven't used their voice very much in their life, having language available is super helpful and it's healthy for us. And how we arrive at that language can either be done functionally and conscious, right? So that's where we do the envisioning. We see our triggers, we pay attention to them, and we recognize what our intent is. Or dysfunctional and unconscious, which is the spinning, the hamster wheel. And the truth is, this is one of the main things that I work with my clients on, because, you know, I am one of those people who didn't use my voice for a large portion of my life. And so for me, one, through my healing journey, and you guys know how big I am on conscious communication, right? This is a massive part of the work that I do, not only for other people, but for myself. And as we do that, as we grow our communication skills, our confidence grows, our self-confidence grows, and knowing we'll be able to handle whatever situation pops up, because that's a big one for people. We stay in this place of vigilant, and it's the same thing. It's a cortisol-induced state, and it drains us. And it's a distraction. It keeps us from missing out on what's actually going on in our lives. It keeps us from fully being in our body and fully being able to experience the day as it goes along. So, like I said, the language is important, and it's about what we're saying and the vibration to it, not the spinning. I've got to make sure that I get everything covered. There's a difference. So the other part is this behavior can manifest in childhood if there was any instability, as well as it can manifest in a relationship with someone who's a narcissist or has another personality disorder or mental illness. This hidden drama can be present at many, many levels. So with some of my clients, it shows up in the beginning of a new relationship with someone who isn't a match, and they're trying to make it work, right? So example, if the communication style isn't a match, one person can easily fall into this drama pattern of trying to make it work by obsessing over what was said and what the other person really felt or meant. And if anyone has any addiction to hope in there, right? We've talked about that. There's a blog and another Insights with Alicia. Highly recommend it. It can trigger that as well. So if one person is emotionally unavailable or playing games, this drama pattern can look like trying to constantly get that person to let you in or jumping through hoops to get their approval. This loop is exhausting, right? Because when someone's a match, that doesn't mean that everything's easy and everything's perfect. By no means. Relationships are work, and they're amazing things. And there's this place of, there's certain, because you guys know I talk about like your ideal partner list and what a relationship looks like to you. So this is another reason that we have these lists, is because you can start to see, do we match up? Do what we want in a relationship? Is it the same? And this place of, if someone isn't a match, we do so much unnecessary work because of our own internal wounds, our own need to prove, our own insecurities, all of that kind of stuff. And we get in this loop. We get in this loop of trying to prove, we get in this loop of trying to get them to notice us. And it just drains us. It consumes our whole life. And we don't even understand that it's happening sometimes because it's under the guise of trying to make a relationship work. So, like I said, we think it's helpful because we're doing something. Humans always feel so good when we're doing something, even though all we're doing is spinning our wheels and keeping ourselves in the drama. When we are spending a great deal of time, most of our waking hours every day in this loop, like I said, it can derail the relationship and it distracts us from the rest of our lives. It just becomes so consuming. And when we're in those situations, because we've all been there, I've done this. That's why I know what hidden drama is. I get to talk about it because like, oh yeah, I did that. And it's one of those where it's so behind the scenes. It's so covert. We don't realize how much energy is spent thinking about this and spinning. And here's the thing. It's like what I'm saying. We feel like we're doing something productive, when in reality, it's a drain and it's a form of mental busyness. Remember, we talked about last week, the difference between busyness and productivity. This is where it shows up in our minds. A lot of what we talked about last week was sort of outside of ourselves, as far as like activities or how we're creating our lives and the things we're doing in our life. This is where that concept shows up mentally. Mental busyness versus mental productivity. So, and if it's a relationship that this is happening about, it's usually because we're too afraid to let the relationship go. So we stay in this place. And relationships, like I said, they're not easy. They're an investment. And if the relationship is a match, there's a return on your investment. There's a mutuality, not trading, a mutuality, a mutual investment. And when we're afraid to let go, we will choose to stay in this drama because it feels better than so many reasons, right? It feels better than being alone. It feels better than the fear of the unknown, right? We so many times as humans stay in a place of that we know, even though it's not serving us, even though it doesn't make us happy, because it's the fear versus the fear you don't, right? The devil versus the devil you don't know. And we have the fear of what's going to happen if I let go of this relationship. If I just do better, or if I do X, Y, Z, then it will all change, right? And that kicks in that addiction to hope that we talk about. So the comments are cracking me up. Kato on here, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted listening to this. It's great content. Because we see how many places that we do this. So I want everyone, I want you, and she's joking also. She has an amazing sense of humor. So everyone take a big deep breath and think of where you have done this in a relationship. Pull all of your energy back to you. Quiet your mind and become aware of all of the energy you put out into the world by spinning and stressing and what ifing yourself. That's a big one for me. It still gets me once in a while. I'm so much better at it because I have tools and, I've healed a lot of that stuff, but sometimes it still gets in there, that what ifing, what if comes from a place of fear, right? Because we have a need for safety. So imagine what you could create if you kept all of that energy and directed it into something that brought you joy instead of drama. And people who have had a lot of drama in their life, they may think that a life without drama is boring. And this is because their measurement scale has just simply been skewed, right? They've lived in this high cortisol, high stress induced place. They think that this is passion. They think that it's joy. They think that it's excitement. And the truth is, it's just drama. And there is a massive, massive difference between peace and boring. And we have such a judgment around boring, right? Like, oh, nobody wants to be the boring person. Like there's just such a negative thing around it. And it takes some reprogramming. It takes some retraining. And sometimes, you need someone like me to help you with that. Because as you start to heal some of these behaviors, as you start to work on your drama addiction, you're not going to understand what this sense of calm is. You're going to want to make it boring. You're going to want to judge it because it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's healthy and it's functional, but it's uncomfortable until it becomes comfortable. And that's the place of, sometimes we need someone to help us see those things. And I will tell you, drama can be very addicting for people. And that's, like I said, when you've had that roller coaster in your life and now you're like, what is it? The log ride that's all like, or the lazy river, you're just floating along. We will use this mental part, right? If you're so used to, if you've had so many roller coasters and your relationships have been up and down, and now you've worked on that, you're not attracting that kind of person anymore, but you still have old programming, you still have a little bit of addiction to drama, you will create this hidden drama to get your fix. And no one will ever know because it's happening in your head. And the rest of the world, like I said, looks like you're being productive. It's busyness. And it looks like you're working on something. And as I said, the downside of the hidden drama is that it will start to influence the rest of your life. It will come out sideways somewhere. It will start to affect your other relationships negatively because you'll either start this behavior again and you'll have it going on in all of your relationships, or you'll have less capacity for the people in your life because you're slowly, covertly being drained because of the hamster wheel in your head, because of the fake arguments, because of needing to be prepared, because of needing to figure out what someone else has done. And like I said, it permeates through all parts of your life, your work, your kids, your marriage, your friends, your family. And here's the thing, absolutely no judgment in this. We have all been there. Right now, I know everyone listening or watching with me is like, ooh, I didn't think anyone knew that I had those fake arguments in my head. I thought I was the only one that did that. Nope, you're not the only one that does it. You're not. And for a big one for me was when I started my business and I knew other coaches who would have clients texting them all day long. And I thought to myself, is this the way that it's supposed to be? Because that is not a match for me. You can't coach by text. There's too much that we do in a session that you can't put in writing in a text. And the other thing is that for me and what was happening to these other people that I knew, it was draining them. And yet these people fed off of the drama that was happening in their clients' lives all day long, like a heroin drip, because it kept them from looking at their own things in their life, right? It was a distraction because if they can get caught up in what's happening with their clients, and particularly in this kind of situation, very, very easy to not see it because we look like we're helping. And we are helping, but we bypass it in our brain. We justify this dysfunctional behavior under the way of, because I'm helping someone. And we've talked about that, right? We've talked about the difference between caring and caretaking. It's the responsibility piece. So if you're hooked on the drama of someone else and you're in a support position, right? Like what I do for a living. If you're in any kind of business where you support someone, if you're caught up in their drama, you're not able to help them because you're attached, you have judgments, you energetically are tied. And it's what I call, it's not clean. And a lot of people just don't know that. And for me, when I'm with my clients, it's completely unattached. If I have any attachment to what you're talking about, that gets in the way. That's not what you're paying me for. So, so when you're caught up in other people's drama under the guise of helping someone, it also is hidden drama. It's giving you that fix. And for people, in my position, they weren't aware of the toll that it was taking. Like I said, one, it distracted them from their own life, and it had an effect on the client that was in front of them at any particular time for a session, because they didn't have as much to give capacity wise, because they chose to be drained slowly all day long. So I use the experience of me in this business, but pay attention when you're with your friends or you're with coworkers, like pay attention if you're caught up in their drama, if you're getting your fix. No judgment, just see if it's actually serving you. See if it's draining you, and see if it's feeding your need to be needed, which is another big one in our society. Maybe I'll do a Monday night on that. We haven't done it. We haven't comprehensively talked about that one. So like I said, there's of course going to be times in our relationships where we are trying to work through things with another person. It's when the spinning and the obsessing and the modifying yourself and the desperation becomes the main behavior, and the hidden drama becomes so dysfunctional and unhealthy. That's what we're talking about. And here's the thing. I get how hard it can be to stop this behavior because we're so entrained to be doing something, right? You guys hear me say human doings versus human beings. And if you find yourself always prepping in your head what the other person is going to say, or if you find yourself having to explain everything you say so the other person gets it over and over and over, you are most likely in a hidden drama loop. And maybe this is happening because this person isn't a match, right? It's that whole round peg, square hole kind of thing. So if you're doing any of those things I mentioned, could be in the hidden drama loop. And with any loop, you know how I am about the loops. How do we get out of it? First, you ask, is this a loop? Sounds crazy, simple, and massively effective. And if you get a yes, the energy starts to change right there. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Now, there are steps and actions you can take to change your behavior, to get out of that loop and to stay out of the loop, right? This is where someone like me, right? I am one of the people that can help you with that, help you change the mindset that's actually driving it, right? We get into all those things underneath that are driving this behavior. And then we look at how your behaviors manifest from those thoughts, and we get to shift those too. So the thing is once the hidden drama is out in the light, it can only be put back in the dark by you. That's a choice. Like once you recognize what you're doing, you can only ignore it if you want to. You're the one that puts it back in the closet. So what's the upside of a loop? I know people don't think that there's an upside of a loop because they're so horrible when we're in them. Oh, they feel horrible. It helps us see our own behaviors because it happens over and over and over. And eventually we see it enough and we smack ourselves in the forehead and go, why didn't I see that before? That could just be me. I'm not sure. I might be the only one that says those kind of things to myself. Probably not. And the great thing about loops is they help us see what's not a match for us, whether it's an activity, whether it's a person, whether it's something else that we have in our life. The loop helps us see we are choosing something that isn't healthy. We are choosing something that's out of alignment. Now, sometimes that may mean that you get rid of the whole thing. Sometimes that means that there's tweaking that goes on. You know what I mean? Like maybe you got an activity and you're doing it 7 days a week. Well, the activity fills you up, but it's draining you because you're doing it 7 days a week. So then maybe you ask your body and, your intuition and you go, oh, I'm going to do it 3 days a week. Right. Like, so sometimes it's a complete change, nope, got to go. And sometimes there's managing in there and choosing again and choosing what's in alignment for you now. So, like I said, the loops help us see these things, even if it's something as simple as a mind shift change, which is extremely powerful. So instead of judging yourself or the loop, we get to say thank you to the loop for showing us something greater. So when I catch myself having arguments in my head, I know for myself what this means is that I'm not feeling safe in a relationship or a situation. I gotta take a drink. So excited about this stuff. And there's a lot to get through tonight, so I'm kind of talking fast. So like I said, when I catch myself doing this, I know I'm not feeling safe. Relationship, job, activity, doesn't matter. And it's a time for me to look internally to see what's going on. It may be then that it's time for me to speak up. It may be that it's time for me to move on. Because what's happening is I'm keeping myself, I'm not a victim to it. I'm keeping myself in a constant place of needing to protect myself. And sometimes that need is real and other times that it's not. Like for me, safety is a big thing and, always wanting to feel emotionally safe. And so if I'm out of alignment and I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing anymore, it's not what the universe and my body wants for me, this process will kick in because there's things going on in the situations that are coming up and that are making me unhappy. And so I start to have these prepared fake arguments in my head that if this person says that or that person says that, then I'll have it. So when I know that starts to happen, that's a symptom, right? These fake arguments, this hidden drama is a symptom of something else internally going on. And that's the fun stuff. That's the stuff we get to look at. I love that stuff. That's what I get to do with people and even animals. So we look at, right, what goes on, what's underneath, what's driving the behavior. That is your homework for tonight, is I invite you to take a hard look and a gentle look at where you do this and where your energy drain happens from this behavior in any relationship, work, friends, romantic, family, doesn't matter. Or any other thing that's going on in your life. Like I said, it could be activity, it could be something else. And you get to ask yourself, is it fear? Is it your addiction to drama? Are you wanting to create drama because you need attention, right? Having an empty day, you're feeling alone. And so some people will create drama so that people pay attention to them. And here's the thing, when we're in those places, a lot of times people don't care whether it's negative attention or positive attention. They just want attention. This happens a lot with animals. I was having this conversation earlier as well. Are you at a place of wanting to use your voice, right? Speaking up for yourself. And when we look at what's underneath is when we get to change the situation. And there is a piece in here, a separate piece of homework. I want to speak to the place of, if you find yourself in a situation where you aren't able to speak up or say what you want to say, like say it's your boss, right? Sometimes you can't go to your boss and say the things that are true and the things that are happening for you. Not everybody has a boss or a supervisor that can hear those kind of things, or work for a company that has that level of care for their employees. Or you might be in a relationship and you're trying to find your way out of it, but until then, it's not safe for you to speak up. So, and the situation may just not present itself. Like one of my clients, he's going through a divorce. He has all this stuff he'd love to be able to say, to his soon to be ex-partner, and that situation isn't going to present itself. And so what happens is that gets stuck, right? Like that's what we're talking about with this hamster wheel and this hidden drama. One, we want to see what's going on underneath. And if there's like, what's driving it, what's our belief in there. And then we want to get the energy unstuck. And so this is where we want to find a way to discharge the energy, find a safe place to express yourself and move through it. A couple of techniques to use in these situations are writing it all out and then burning the letter. If you write it physically on paper, if you write it on the computer, don't burn your laptop. It's not what I'm recommending. Just a disclaimer in there, don't burn your laptop. Saying it verbally and recording yourself. role playing where someone witnesses it. It's one of the things that I do with my clients, right? Like I'm the person that they want to say all this kind of stuff to. And it's so cute with my clients that do this because you're like, well, but you're going to think I'm mean. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to think anything. One, it's not about me. It's not personal. I'm just a tool. I'm the instrument here. And I'm not going to take it on. I'm not even going to take in that energy. So they get to, because that's the thing, we want to get that deep, low vibration, heavy energy out of there that has been stuck. And so whatever the words are, that doesn't matter to me. Like with my clients, we're going after the energy. We want that free so that it's not, having an impact on how they're creating their life from that point. So those are just a couple of techniques, and don't judge yourself if you have to do it more than once. There's a lot of times where you got to write the letter more than once, like, because if you've been in a situation for a period of time, there's, a significant level of stuck energy. So we write letters and we write letters and we write letters, or we make recordings, or you use someone like me until it starts to dissipate. It's whatever gets the energy moving to be released in a safe and usually confidential manner. So I hope that all makes sense. I know that was a lot of info tonight. It's one of the things, though, that is so rampant in our society, but it's so covert and hidden that we don't pay attention to it, and we don't know why we're drained. We don't know why situations are happening the way that they're happening, because that's not how we wanted it to go in our head. This is why, because there's something running in the background. So I hope you have enjoyed yourself. Please join me again next Monday, right? We're already at time. Oh my gosh. Okay. So if there's anyone that you want to share this video with, right, it gets uploaded to YouTube tonight under my channel, Alicia Sweezer. Please subscribe to my channel. The link, all these links that I talk about right there in the event listing, and insights like this, sign up for my blog. And now you get to listen to it as a podcast also. Apple Music, formerly iTunes, Spotify. There's a couple others it's going out on the platform. I'm still learning some of those, but when I upload it, it gets blasted to all of them. So you just follow the main link that I have there. And as always, thank you to everyone who has donated to my Cosmic Tip Jar. It allows me to create more free things like this that I get to give to people. I love being able to connect and contribute with you guys every Monday. Anyone who feels led to do so, the links are in the event info. There's multiple options. Thank you. And as always, if anything I talked about today makes you want to learn more, reach out, book a session, schedule your free discovery call for you or your animal, right? Because Who Knew Healing covers both sides. And I would love to connect and see what we could create and change in your life. So everyone have a great week. I will see you next Monday. I can't believe I have to wait a whole week to connect with you guys. If you have any questions, send me an email. Any of this kind of stuff pops up. And if it's, something quick like that, otherwise we'll get you scheduled and we'll work through this. Thank you for connecting with me tonight. And I will see you all next week. Bye, everyone.